This episode of the Goldmine Podcast is brought to you by Creating the Best Version of Me, a journal designed for ambitious Christian women who are seeking to increase their self-awareness, find purpose, and embark on the next level of their personal evolution journey. As entrepreneurs, career women, mothers, leaders, world changers, it is so important that we invest in our mindset and well-being, and journaling is one of the simple but powerful ways of doing that. This isn't your typical blank page journal. Besides the carefully curated morning and evening prompts, you'll also find a primary aim questionnaire that is designed to help you clarify your purpose, and a whole section of affirmations to help you retrain your thinking and speaking into positive patterns. This journal is easy to use, has plenty of room for writing and reflecting, and guaranteed to help you become the best version of yourself. You do not want to go through 2019 without this journal. Buy your copy on Amazon today. The link is in the show notes. You're listening to episode 39 of
The Goldmine Podcast.
As women, we have to invest that time in getting to understand who we are.
Be ambitious, be bold, create the life of your dreams. This is the Goldmine Podcast with your host, Adrian Dion.
Hey you guys, and Happy New Year to you. It is officially 2019, and I am so excited for all the great things I believe will happen in this year. Not only for me, but also for you guys as well. Of course, nobody knows what all this year will hold, what it will bring, but we do know who holds this year. And we can be excited and be hopeful and have peace knowing that God is in control and that He's going to lead us and guide us and that He will never put more on us than we can bear. And so if you're not excited about the new year, get excited because great things are headed your way. I hope that by now everyone has established their goals for this year and that you guys already have your plans in place and you're ready to hit the ground running. On the last few episodes, we've been talking about the statistics on how a lot of people don't accomplish their goals and they give up within the first couple of months of the year. And I've been giving you tools to make sure you're not a part of that number. And so today, I know that you guys are excited and you have your plan in place, but I do want to be realistic. I want to be realistic with you. I don't want to just motivate you and inspire you. I want to make sure that you have all the tools for success. And today, that is why I want to talk to you about what to do when the enthusiasm wears off. The push off, it gives us a rush of anticipation and a sense of progress. When we first start out, we're excited and we're full of energy. But 12 months is a long time and so much can happen. Life gets real along the way. And so because of that, the excitement and the energy, it fades. And soon enough, we'll find ourselves in deep waters, in the middle, where you can't feel the bottom and you're too far out to turn around, but you look ahead and you still have a long ways to go. Two things will happen. Number one, you're going to doubt that you have the strength to finish. And number two, you're going to question, why did you even start in the first place? I think about that interview that I heard on the Oprah show when she interviewed that swimmer who swam from Cuba to Florida. There was so much that she went through. Actually, it was her 5th attempt before she actually was successful at it. And she was also at the age of 64. The first time she tried it was when she was 29 years old. And the other 4 attempts were when she turned 60. And she said, she was talking about how she decided she was so unfulfilled at that point. Now, she was like an Olympic medalist or whatever, but her mom died and she was really like feeling unfulfilled. And so at the age of 60, she decided to go and try it again. And there was so much she endured. But I think about, I'm pretty sure at one point she was like a day or two in, because I think it took her 53 hours to complete it. But I know she was at a certain point where she was like, yo, why in the world did I do this? And I say that because she went through a lot of different health problems. I think the first time she had to stop because of the tough, strong winds that were occurring out when she was trying. And then the last couple of times, even with that attempt, she had to go through the cold. She was vomiting because she had so much salt water in her body. She was sunburned and swollen. There were jellyfish things. And of course, she used her past failures to plan better for that last attempt. Like she was saying, where she wore a suit and a mask to protect herself against the jellyfish, because the last time that was why she had to stop. And she also had swimmers to swim ahead of her to move the jellyfish out of the way. But she also had asthma attacks, and so I'm sure this time she had medical staff on board. But I think that we mistakenly try and convince ourselves that if we plan better, we can avoid the pain and kind of just breeze through to the finish line and accomplish our goals. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that almost nothing ever happens like that. And if it does, it's only because we didn't stretch ourselves far enough. The goal was too small. And you have to remember that if we want to grow, we must make goals that are outside of our comfort zones. Anytime that you do that and you make these goals that are outside of your comfort zone, you're going to meet resistance. It's inevitable. You know, the starting part is simple, but it's the progress that's tough. Why? Because once you get into it, the hill is always going to be steeper than you thought, and the road is always going to be longer than you assumed. I remember just recently I went on a hike with my coworkers, and they were just like, oh, there's like a 5 peak challenge here in San Diego, and I had done a couple of them already, and I'm just like, how hard can it be, right? And so we get there, and we start off, it's on an incline, and I'm like, okay, cool. And we keep going, and we keep going. And then we get to this part where it's called the stairway to heaven. And it's literally like you're climbing, like you're basically rock climbing. It was so hard. And I was like, yo, I did not expect it to be like that. And not only that, I'm thinking, once we get up there, I'm going to have to come back down. Like, yo, this is crazy. You guys, what I thought was going to be a 3-mile hike turned into a 9-mile hike. By the time I got to my car, by the time I got home, I could not even get out of the car. Like, my legs were shaking. But I'm just thinking, like, you know, if I had known it would have been that hard, I would have never gone. Thank God I didn't, because I wouldn't have finished it. And it's the same thing with our goals when we're stretching ourselves. I mean, if we knew what all we would go through, chances are we wouldn't even embark on that journey. And so to finish our goals, you're going to need stamina. It's going to require hard work. And you have to know that sometimes there's going to be a long arch between that dream that you have and its realization. I'll admit that that's one thing I had to accept, to learn to accept, I'd say, with this whole entrepreneur journey, because I had no idea that it would take so much work. And, you know, I think it's just because as a culture, we've been kind of conditioned to want results like yesterday, because everything in our society now is instant. And so we don't like to wait for things. We want those things that don't require a lot of effort and doesn't cause us a lot of pain. And if that's not the case, we're like, okay, on to the next best thing. But one of my favorite quotes is by Theodore Roosevelt, and he said, "Nothing in this world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, and difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being that led an easy life. I have envied a great many people who led difficult lives and led them well." I think about the homeless people here in San Diego. Everybody says, like, dude, these homeless people have the best lives. They can sleep in a tent. The weather's always good here. There are so many people bringing them food and blankets and all of that. They have a really easy life. But am I envying them? No, I'm not. Unless it comes to paying his rent sometimes, because, whew. But but if you think about somebody like Beyonce, who's always creating on the road, she has to do these tours. And let me just tell you, I did a tour in Switzerland and it is not easy. We did a 14-night tour and bruh, I was so ready for it to end. And for her to be doing a world tour night after night after night and having to give the same energy, and it's taxing on her sleep and on her body and, you know, so much. I envy her life, but she puts in work. And there are a lot of sacrifices that she has to make. Like, homegirl can't even go to Target and, you know, just chill out or go to the park, like, just because of her life. But at the end of the day, those are the people that we envy. And it's not easy. It's difficult. So as we embark on pursuing our goals this year, we have to know that we will meet resistance. But what do we do when this happens? How do we gain the strength to keep going? Well, I'm going to give you a few tips, a few things that you can do. And so I urge you to get you some paper, a pen, your cell phone, get your notes app and write these down, because they're going to be so important to your journey of accomplishing your goals this year. The first one is finding your why. And listen, I know it sounds cliche. I know you've heard this before. You hear people say, well, what is your why? You know your why. But I'm not talking about, I want to start this business so I can make more money, or I want to start this business because I want to quit my job because I hate everybody up in here. No, that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about reasons that you find deeply and personally compelling. Because when your why is super important to you, it becomes your catalyst. But here's the thing. The reason most people whys don't motivate them is because they aren't intrinsic motivations. There are two types of motivations, intrinsic and external. The intrinsic come from our hopes, our values, and our ambitions. And external motivations come from outside influences like society, your friends, your spouses, and your bosses. I kind of talked about this in the last episode when I was talking about making sure that your goals are goals that you want to accomplish. They can't be goals that somebody else wants you to accomplish. Like, you know, somebody else telling you, your spouse saying, well, you need to lose 20 pounds or I'm going to divorce you. You're not going to be motivated by that. That motivation is not going to be effective and long lasting. You need to make sure that you have intrinsic motivation, something that means something to you. When it comes to my goals that I have set for fitness and health, it's not just so I can be snatched. I mean, that's all cute and everything, but I have those goals. They mean something to me because I want to prove that reversing autoimmune diseases are possible. I want to break the generational curses of diabetes and high blood pressure and cancer in my family. I want to be able to pass down good, healthy habits to my children if we choose to have some. I want to be able to teach others from experience how to live a healthy life, what that looks like, and that it's not anything that is restrictive. If we aren't connected to our whys, it's going to be easy for us to burn out and bail. So my suggestion is for you to go back, look at the list of goals that you have, and then write as many intrinsic personal motivations as you can for each one of them. And then choose 3 of the top ones to put in front of you that you can review on a daily basis. By doing this, you're going to have several convincing reasons to keep pressing forward when times get hard. Once you have those lists of whys, the second step is to connect with them. And what I mean by that is spend time asking yourself, what do I stand to gain by accomplishing these goals? But not only that, what is at stake if I don't accomplish these goals? Now, on my computer desk, on my cork board, I have both of the answers to these things up there. And the reason why is because it's going to help you to silence the doubts. It's going to energize you and it's going to keep you pushing, because you're going to get to a point to where you're going to be like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. But when you look up there at that board and you look at what's at stake. If you don't, you're going to be like, oh no, I don't have time to stop. I don't have time to play because I'm on a mission. There are too many people depending on me. There's too much to lose if I don't continue. And it's going to keep you going in those hard times. The third thing that will help you to keep pushing is to internalize your motivations. So action in itself can be its own reward. And what I mean by that is that over time, we can train ourselves to anticipate the rewards as we internalize the benefits. And then naturally, we'll begin to look forward to doing whatever it is that we're doing. When we internalize our motivations, it moves the reward from just an incentive to a drive. And so then those motivations become self-perpetuating. Now, let me give you a practical example so you understand what I'm saying. Most people will say that they like to exercise, or no, not that they like to exercise. They like the feeling that they have after they exercise. And so what you can do, you can train yourself to only focus on the feeling you'll have after you finish exercising, that feeling of an accomplishment, that feeling that, you have more energy, and focus on that. Don't even think about anything else, but just focus on that. You're internalizing your motivations for doing whatever you're doing, whether that's the feeling afterwards, how you'll look in a dress that you're trying to fit into. Only focus on those things. And by doing that, you'll start to look forward to it, and then you'll get excited about doing whatever it is that you're doing. We can internalize the motivation so much that the action steps we take to get them become a part of our identity. That's how habits are formed. So think about people who start to form habits that use the gamifying process. And if you don't know what the gamifying process is, it's just basically doing something every single day, and on the calendar you'll have a check mark. And so you just check it off every day. And then, after a while you'll have a whole little chain going, and you don't want to stop. You don't want to break the chain. And so you continue to keep going because you don't want to break that chain. Basically, they're internalizing their motivations. It's not necessarily whatever they're doing, it's the action steps, it's marking that check that's motivating them to keep going every single day. And so then it becomes a habit for them. And even when they're not checking the checks on a daily basis, it's just a part of who they are now. And that's how they form that habit. So you guys can even apply that to your goals. For those of you who are trying to form new habits, you gamify the process so that it's easier for you. That's a little trick that I love to do when I'm trying to do something. And while I'm talking about habits, let me just let you guys know, for anybody that thinks if I can just do it for 21 days, the habit will be formed. No, that is a myth. Research has shown that it takes way more than 21 days. I think on average it's like 66 days. And for really complex goals, it's somewhere like 250 days or something like that. So get that out of your head. Don't even think about that. Just think about whatever it is, the result, and let that be your motivation. Let that be the reward. Now, the last thing that's so important to help you keep going when the enthusiasm fades is having a support person or a support system. Who you surround yourself with really, really matters. And so I think that one of the mistakes a lot of people make is trying to do it on your own. And trust me, I get it. It's not good to tell everybody about everything that you're doing, but you should create a select community of people that will assist you on your journey. And I'm talking about a community that helps everybody that's involved achieve their goals. I'm not talking about you being codependent on somebody else. No, that you're giving and they're giving. You're depositing and withdrawing, and they're doing the same thing. The people in your community should be helping you to retain your belief and to also hold you accountable to stay committed to your goals when you're in those deep waters and in that messy middle part of your journey. And when you're creating that community, you need to have a big sign on the door that says, "No scarcity thinkers allowed," okay? If you have scarcity thinkers around you, you're going to struggle to stay motivated. But if you have abundance thinkers around you, you're going to have access to encouragement and emotional support and solutions and insights and people that just are excited about meeting their goals. And so they're going to be excited about you doing the same thing. Misery loves company. And so, if you have somebody that they're miserable, they're going to want you miserable too. They're not going to be able to support you and pump you and tell you to keep going. But if you have people that are doing things, they're going to be accomplishing their goals and they're going to want to see you do the same thing too. There's a book called The Power of Habit. And in it was talking about AA groups. And he was saying that it's so successful, that group is so successful because of the support. A lot of people are able to change their lives because of the support. And it was saying that belief of the possibility is great, but the support of people in the group is what created the belief in the first place. People in the group could see other people being able to go without alcohol and being sober. And so they're saying to themselves, if they can do it, so can I. And so it's so important to surround yourself with the right people. There's a quote by Charles Duhigg that says, "Belief is easier when it occurs in a community." And that is so true. And so I encourage you to either create a community or join one. And there are so many examples of great communities that can assist you on your journey that will make sure that when you get into those times where you don't feel like continuing, you don't know if you have the strength to keep going, you'll have a support system that'll help you. Now, some of these examples could be like online communities. So of course, I'm going to promote right here. You can join the Gold Mine Tribe. That's a Facebook group that offers encouragement and information throughout the week that you can, chat with other people. You'll also I do private teachings and trainings in those. And so that's a good one where you can write in. Somebody else may be going through the same thing that you have and have advice. Mastermind groups are really good because they're going to reveal best practices. They can provide feedback and guidance from other people, like I said, who face the same challenges you face and can help you avoid a lot of the mistakes that they've made. You can also get a coach. Coaching is really useful because whenever you have a coach, they're going to share from their personal experiences. They're going to be able to counsel you. They're going to be able to challenge you and hold you accountable. So if you need that type of support, I would definitely say invest in yourself and invest in your dreams and your goals. Make sure that you have a surety that at the end of 2019, you're going to have accomplished all of the goals that you have set. But intentional relationships make us more productive. They're going to make you be more creative and more useful than you could do on your own. And so I really encourage you to get in a community that's going to promote your growth. I am so excited to share that the Gold Mine Academy, which is my coaching firm that I created to help entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs reach their goals. Enrollment will be opening at the end of this month. So if you want to find out about the programs that are available that could assist you on your journey this year, make sure you hit the link in the show notes for our facts page and to just learn more about that program. I will also be doing a webinar training this Saturday, January 5th. It's for all of my entrepreneurs, or even if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you want to start a business this year, you need to be in this webinar because I'm going to be talking about 5 strategies every entrepreneur should be using to achieve their goals. And it is so good. I'm so excited to share that information with you. The link to sign up for the webinar is in the show notes, so don't miss it. You want to make sure that you're in that class on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a couple more trainings this month to get ready for our enrollment, and so I'm really excited about it. And so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can hit me up on Instagram. Make sure that you sign up for the Goldmine Tribe because we do things in there during the week and on the weekend, also through our Facebook group. But I'm also going to be sending a lot of things first dibs to my email list. So if you're not on the email list, make sure you sign up, and that comes with just joining the Goldmine Tribe. Don't forget to pick up your journal for the year from Amazon. That is going to be also in the show notes. So it's a lot of stuff for you guys to do. I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, know that I'm always available and ready to help you in any way that I can. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening. Happy New Year to you, and I will talk to you Saturday in the webinar. Bye.